Hi, Thomas Chavez with the Compass of Grace, or the Compass Way. And there have been a number of questions coming in, and most of them are really, really hard questions, really good questions. And the one I'm going to try to talk to right now came in a kind of a garbled form, but it was basically, what about work? What about, the world of getting along and staying alive, doing things to feed ourselves and get along in the world? It's work. How do we do this? How does all of this Compass Way stuff apply to the necessity of making things happen so that we eat, we have what we need, and maybe some nice stuff on top? Okay? So, and that's a profound question. And the individual who asked that question, I know, has actually attempted to live in grace as much as possible for a little time. And so they have the absolute right to ask that question, because they notice that as they're in grace, they don't care about fitting in this way and making that happen and soothing this little thing over and making all the things work out so that the world feeds them and gives them money, because the world values them in a certain manner, in a certain way, to a certain number of dollars and cents per hour. What do we do if we adopt the Compass Way? It really depends on a number of factors. If we have a place in the cycle of economy that we like, we can be in grace and float right through. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us have good jobs that we actually, if we tell the truth, we just don't like. In fact, there are people who hate their jobs. Isn't that ridiculous? It's actually part of the measure of how it is that getting along fails us. Because just to do what's necessary, we do what we hate. And therefore make our lives hateful to ourselves in order to sustain our lives. That's pretty crazy. So, suppose we're in that position. Suppose I have a job. It feeds me. I go every day. I have the skills. I can grind it out. And I'm really tired at the end of every day. And I'm just at the end of the weekend. And I just have just enough rest to go back. And I learned the Compass Way, and I learned that the skills that I'm using to make that work are really unnecessary. And if I open myself up and come from my heart and live in love and in acceptance, I live in presence. I'm just really here. I'm not bothered by that person and this person, and I'm not driven. But if I'm not driven, maybe they'll fire me because they want driven people. The ideal answer, of course, is that if I'm utterly, completely in unconditional acceptance, I accept that they fire me. That creates problems in the, quote, getting along world. Yes, it does. If I love the people that I'm with. If I am inspired to be where I'm at, if I am in awe of how things work, I can go through all the motions that I was driven to go through because they were going to give me a paycheck with joy. And I don't have to be fired. Perhaps I would want to be fired, and perhaps I would not. We are all different, and we all have different rates of growth and different paths of evolving. But the point of living in the compass of grace is that when I accept and am grateful, greet it all with joy, and inspired to make what I will of what's happening, experience the awe of what really is, and peaceful about the consequences of my choices, present to what is going on, and love, there is no loss. No loss at all. And yes, I may go from job to job. And yes, I may find a new way to engage sustenance. But if I'm inspired, maybe that'll be easier than it was before.